Good morning, everyone. Welcome to my channel. I'd like to say thank you, Kim and Mike, for sharing this talk with me. Because, it's nice once in a while to get a special talk from the governing body, especially as one of the closing talks. Try to make people believe that now, after 3 days of your convention, it would be an honor and glory to listen to one of these holy men that was picked by Christ and Jehovah to give this special talk. So let's get into it. Hey, you know me, I like to rip things apart. So let's begin.
We have thoroughly enjoyed an abundance of spiritual provisions these past 3 days. And now the time has arrived for the concluding talk of this Remain Close to Jehovah District Convention. What is the secret place of the Most High Jehovah? Is it something we enter at baptism? And more important, what must we do to remain there? We are eager to hear what Brother Splain has to say in the talk, Remain in the secret place of the Most High.
What an absolutely delightful convention theme, encouraging us to remain close to Jehovah God. And what is the message? What is it that we take away from this convention? Well, one of the things that we have learned is that no one can serve Jehovah God in our place. Each one of us has a personal responsibility before God to be His servants. We have learned that no one can cause us to stumble out of the truth.
Whoa, let's stop right there. First of all, David explained, it's not the truth. And you know that. And you know that the name Jehovah is not even God's name. You know that too. You know this religion that Watchtower helped build from Charles T. Russell and Judge Rutherford is nothing but crap on the ground. Many of us wasted our lives, energy, blood in this false organization. Who'd stumble us? What caused us to leave? Because it was not the truth. So, I am glad I was stumbled. Many of us who left this organization glad something stumbled us to search the information out there about this religion. So God is happy that we were stumbled by your Jehovah, your false God. Like I said, God is happy we stumble out of this false religion. So we don't have to die serving a false God, false Christ, and a false organization. So David explained stumbling out of false religion to find the truth is the greatest gift you can receive when you awaken from this false religion. Let's continue.
Not our marriage mate, not a son or daughter, father, mother, school chums, workmates. If we leave the truth, it's our responsibility. We take ourselves out of the truth. We stumble ourselves. And I think all of us have been moved to analyze our situation before Jehovah.
I analyze everything since 2012 in April. That's when I began my research on this religion. Too much evidence out there that I found in the publications, talks, everything I found on this religion. I analyzed, and what I came up with, I had a reason to walk out of this religion. I had a reason to turn my back on this religion. So basically, Watchtower, here's the scripture. I'm going to put it like a twist. If I had to choose, which I'm going to call Watchtower as my family with my brothers and sisters, to choose my family or to worship Christ, I had to leave this religion. I had to leave the false religion to go to Christ and learn the real truth. So, there's my answer. Why I had to do it. Continue.
Analyze our relationship with Him and see areas where that relationship needs to be strengthened. And truly, brothers, if we follow the counsel that we have received in the last 3 days, our relationship is going to be strengthened, and we're going to find the protection that all of us crave in the secret place of the Most High. Now, what is that secret place? It's described in the 91st Psalm. We just sang about the 91st Psalm in our Kingdom Song. Let's turn to Psalm 91. And in verse 1, we find this expression, which is the theme of our discussion this afternoon. Psalm 91:1. Anyone dwelling in the secret place of the Most High will procure himself lodging under the very shadow of the Almighty One. I will say to Jehovah, you are my refuge and my stronghold, my God, in whom I will trust. Now let's stop there for a moment. Do we have some sense of what this secret place is? Verse 2 calls it a refuge. a stronghold. In other words, it's a place of protection. Now, Psalm 91 is thought to have been written by Moses. So now, thinking about the nation of Israel in Moses' day, what kind of protection do you think that Moses was referring to? Well, if you think about the history of Israel, and then going back into the days of the patriarchs, the patriarch Job, for example, and Abraham and others, we realize that these patriarchs and the Israelites weren't always protected physically. So the secret place of Jehovah must be a place of spiritual protection. Now, how do we know that we have entered into that secret place? Well, what does he say? I will say to Jehovah, verse 2, you are my refuge and my stronghold, my God in whom I will trust. So, brothers, when we can say those words, you are my God in whom I will trust.
In God whom I trust. We all trusted this false God Jehovah. We believed in this false God Jehovah. Now I know better. The others has woken up and realized the name Jehovah is not a Hebrew name. So all these names all over the world in different countries, cultures, is using their language to say the name Jehovah in their own language. All of them is worshiping a false god. Basically, it was preached more by the Bible students and Jehovah's Witnesses. It was preached by the Catholics, but they abandoned the name Jehovah because they realized they was in the wrong for using this false name. Let's continue.
And mean it. It can be said that we have entered into the secret place of the Most High. So you can see that we don't automatically enter into that secret place when we get baptized. Because it's not a matter of getting baptized, it's really a matter of having our full confidence, our full trust in Jehovah God. We trust that Jehovah God can help our young people if they...
Please listen to this part. Please see the deception in this part and see how corrupt this next part is.
Receive just the basic schooling, 12 years of schooling, then go off into the pioneer work. We're not worried what's going to happen to them 40 or 50 years down the road. What will they live on if they don't get higher education? Jehovah is our God, in whom we trust. And we believe that if Jehovah God can make the heavens and the earth and the sea and everything in them, he can find our son or daughter a job. We have confidence in Jehovah. If we get sick and the doctor says that we need a blood transfusion, we have confidence in what Jehovah said in his word. We stay away from blood, and we know that we're going to be blessed by Jehovah. Now, what kind of a picture is the psalmist painting here?
I'm going to tell you what the picture I'm seeing in this talk. You want people to quit school 10th, 12th grade to be a pioneer, only get maybe a part-time job, and you leave a potential that you can give back to the community to be a doctor, a lawyer, a dentist, whatever a person can choose to have a career. And you want people and your children to die on the operating table when they're bleeding eternally, bleeding to death. You want them to die. And you know darn well that Jehovah, that you work making these people to believe it's God and His name, are dying for a false God. Just like the Israelites were sacrificing their children when they turn away from the true God and worshiping false gods. And it mentioned that God Himself said, it never came into my heart, basically, to have His children to sacrifice their children. Let's continue a little bit more.
He calls Jehovah a refuge and a stronghold. And he says in verse 1 that if we enter into the secret place of Jehovah God, that we are going to find ourselves under Jehovah's shadow. Now what is the picture that the psalmist wants us to think about here? You really wouldn't get the point from reading just verses 1 and 2. I'll read verse 3, and let's see if you can guess what the picture is. For He Himself will deliver you from the trap of the bird catcher. So what is the psalmist saying? He's saying that you're a bird. Now, Friday night I called you a bunch of sitting ducks. Now we're calling you little birds. And then in verse 4, he says, with His pinions He will block approach to you, and under His wings you will take refuge. So Jehovah is being compared to a parent bird with large wings. And that parent bird is protecting its little chicks under the protective shadow of those wings. And He also has sharp pinions with which to ward off the enemy. So, if we are in the secret place of the Most High, if we are under the protective shadow of Jehovah God, we can be sure that
I just thought of something just funny. Jehovah doesn't even have a body, a mouth, a nose, ears. And now they have to paint a different picture of a bird protecting the witnesses. Isn't there's a scripture in there that the wicked will be feeded upon the birds? They will be eating the flesh of the wicked. Jehovah's Witnesses, your so-called bird god, it's going to be the birds going to be eating the flesh of your governing body. And whatever wild animals gets them. And the true God is going to send these birds that are supposed to protect you they're going to kill you, and they're going to eat you. And when you see them coming, you think they're going to be protecting you. I'm telling you again, others telling you, this is a false organization. This is something is corrupt for many years, over 100 years. If you don't get out, you will die, just like anyone else going to die in their own false religion. So we'll continue with this David Spling glorified talk. Only the ones that has their ears closed and their hearts as hardened rocks, because they can't feel the lies in this man's speech. So talk to y'all soon. Bye bye.